Welcome to Data Popcorn 2026. My name is Jean-Joseph, and I will walk you to the next 5 minutes on how to apply Type 2 on Microsoft Fabric using just SQL. If you come from SQL, consider you have, for example, these files, okay? During the loading, we normally have an initial directory. That's normally the full load and a delta where we receive the new files. This is the structure of the file. So now consider if we have to load that, right? If this is from scratch, what we creating here is a stage schema, okay? And then we jump in this table in case if that table exists, and then we recreating it, and then we're doing the same thing for the production. I want you to notice that the structure of this table match the file I just showed you. However, during the creation of the final table, we would like to have an aggregate. Fabric does support identity, but it is part of Microsoft Learn. So if you can handle it because it is still in preview. So this way I want to handle it because of data quality. And then I also, for example, create two more columns, one to expire, one to mark that as current. And I'm adding a non-cluster key. So this is the execution for your information. This one doesn't, for example, apply. The reason why I was able to create that non-cluster primary key is because I mentioned that in first. Now let's rely on copy. The advantage on copy, we can explicitly specify the order of the column, and if it's anywhere out, we would like to store that information. So the data is loading now into our staging environment. Let's wait until the execution is done. So it seems like it is done. So let's carry on. Let's select our data. So this is our data, as you can see. So beautiful. So now let's insert it into staging. Because we will not rely on identity, I'm using raw or number in order for me to create the unique ID, and I'm going to insert that data. While insert that data into the final data warehouse where business will point at to do the analysis. You can see 12 row inserted. And now if I execute and go to message, you can see we have 12 row. So now this is the full load. Perfect. In the context of type 2, we have to keep history. So the full load doesn't require a lot of brain, but the second load requires brain. That's the reason why during the creation, we have a surrogate key that can uniquely identify each record. So let's truncate that stage table. Let's select the stage table. So if you pay close attention, you will see that now this table is empty. Let's point this table to the delta, okay? So let's load that data. Once we load it and take a look, if we go, we can see we have 12 rows, okay? 3 rows, sorry. And then now take a look, those are the data. In normal case, we would like to understand if there's anything already existed in our data warehouse, then mark them as expired. It sounds like we have. So for product ID 58, so we receive, if you're looking at here, this is the target, and then this is the stage. So therefore, this is what we currently have in the data warehouse is 2x large. Whereas if we go to, for example, this is the size, that's the stage size, okay? And then where is the target size? Let's go over the target size. It is small. So therefore, things are not the same. Okay, look, this is small. And the stage right there is 2x. So now, in our cases, we would like, for example, to go and execute, rely on dates. Normally, in a complex environment, you would rather rely on hash because I can create a hash using all the key column that's subject to change, okay? And then I can use that hash as a filter now. So now what I'm doing, that hash can be part of my workflows. But in order for us to execute this, we first have to expire the record. If I execute this, those are the record that will be expired. Take a look. This is the record that will be expired, and we were able to identify them here, where we compare the destination and the stage together. And then we have one. Because we have to do the incremental, because if you remember, we were not relying on the identity. That's the reason why we have to go and get that max identity and leverage row number. So we have that max plus it with the row number, and then we execute it. But here's the thing, team. If we execute it this way, guess what happened? If we execute this independently, this succeed, this that failed, it will be a significant mistake. So we have to write them into one transaction. That's the reason why I have this transaction, and then we execute this. So therefore, all of them is one transaction. If it's succeed, great. If it's failed, it has to be rolled back. So now, if we pay close attention, you will notice, if you remember the ID of 58. So let's go over 58. You will see 58 was small, and then we expired this, and then 58, again, this is the product ID, okay? Those are the two rows that we are working on. And here we have that as to X. But things you need to understand is that we did a great job, right? However, you have to understand, if you go by this, for example, you go by the state ID, you might miss information. You might keep on re-updating the same thing that was updated yet already. And one more thing I would like to mention, even though we have the primary key enabled, so we still have to maintain that, because it was not enforced. So anything you reinsert, it might be a duplication, which can cause issue. You will have to handle that yourself. So I hope you were able to enjoy the video, and if you want to connect with me, feel free to do that and just scan it this here, and thank you so much.